Hi, and welcome to my presentation on an easy tool to use to help teachers make sense of all their student data. The goal of this tool is to help teachers get a better picture of each student's needs and to help them differentiate their instruction. Currently at my district, we benchmark our students 3 times a year. The MAP data is what our teachers are supposed to use to differentiate our instruction. However, we also assess our students using AIMSweb during this benchmarking time. We're given the documents for each grade level of how the students did on these tests, but it was a little confusing to try and make sense of it, taking into account our MAP, AIMSweb, and classroom assessments. I decided to create a data management system using Excel and/or Google Sheets to have our data all in one spot. So here's what the data management tool looks like with the data filled in. I included our benchmark assessments for reading here and math over here. I also included our classroom assessments for reading over here, as well as our math classroom assessments over here. The reason why I included our classroom assessments is because it seems to be an issue where we find that our classroom and benchmark assessments do not always correlate with each other, so I thought it was important to include both. I broke down our reading assessments into the different skills that are tested because they're tested in different ways through our reading program. I didn't do that for our math at this time because we assess different skills for each quarter, but I'm open to expanding it as well. So what you do is fill in each student's data for each assessment. I found it easy to fill in this way because we got our results in alphabetical order, so I just went down the list for each assessment and filled in the scores. For both math and reading MAP tests, I included their RIT score as well as their percentile. And then for the AIMSweb fluency, I included how many words they read as well as their accuracy percent. For our classroom assessments, I used either CD, which means consistently demonstrating towards that skill, P, which means progressing towards the skill, or BG for beginning at that skill. I decided to include a spot for behavior because many times it is the case that behavior is in direct correlation with the grades that a child gets. I used a Likert scale and I put the key over here, with 1 being that the student misbehaves often, and 5 being that they are a very well-behaved student. After I submitted the scores, I color-coded them to easily see trends. The AIMSweb assessments already indicate whether the child's score is well above average to well below average. The MAP assessments have a percentile for each child, with 50% being an average. For our reading and math scores, we use beginning, progressing, and consistently demonstrating to indicate how they are doing with that standard. I have the color code key over here for you to see what each color represents. Once I color-coded everything, you really get a good picture of each student. You can identify their strengths and weaknesses and clearly see which students are really struggling. Those might be students you bring up during our student concern meetings. It is easy to use and it is a great alternative to what classroom teachers currently do with all of that benchmarking data. Thank you for listening.